EMI is talking to us about publishing songs that get used on the air. So if you're somebody on artist.com and you have a song on there and that song gets used for anything, they will publish that song.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know anybody else that like, I don't know any other situations where you join a site and you put your work up and A, you get the exposure, and B, you may get like an opportunity like that. But that's just 2 of the things, and they're like, you know, 14 other floors, and we are aspiring to have each floor have a something that parallels that floor, a contest that parallels that floor, something that's congruent with it. So it's a good thing, man, and we wish and urge all the creative folks to go on, because it's big and important to us.
That's great, thank you.
Is that related to your BBC line? The artist?
No, it's actually a separate entity, because it started because, like, you know, we would get on stage and like Shay would have a pocket full of demos and I'd have a pocket full of demos, and then after a while kids were like walking up with their like iPhones like, okay, well look, I did this 30-second animation, let me do your video. Or like I had a kid come up and say, hey, you know, I'm an architect. Let me build your house, or let me build your next studio.
Wow.
Like, but they are some of the most talented kids ever. So this excites us, and I don't know, it's just our way of giving back. We're trying.
Dude, that's so rad though.
Thank you.
My question was actually, you guys all said that you all brought something to the table, and me and my friends, usually we all compete, so is it between you guys, is it a competition ever to see who can bring like the next, or the newest, or something like that, something new? Or
No, I don't think that we really compete. If anything, it's more like we just think differently. So, and we've never really, like when Shay says that we clash sometimes, it's like we've never really thought about, like we've never really considered like the rest of the world. We never considered the masses. We only make those records, in all due reality, like we thought we were making a record for the world, but we're really making it for the people that were too cool for school. Like, you hear N.E.R.D records, like you don't hear N.E.R.D records in the Gap. I mean, you will now. but before, you would hear a N.E.R.D record in like your favorite. I'm sure y'all have a downtown area here in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
So like, you have like a downtown area, and where they make like your girlfriend says, oh my God, have you been to like the Wooden Monkey? They have the best, they have the best waffles on Sunday. Like, we were those, we got played in the too cool for school places. And we never really thought about anything else.
Someone just told me the other day that they were listening to your music, you know, in their iPod, standing in the corner looking around, thinking that they were the coolest person on the planet because they were listening, nobody else was. You know, I'm in my own little world listening, and nobody else is in this cool place with me.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, you know, it was really snobby and really highbrow, but we like that.
Right.
You know, not American.
You can't please the masses, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's the point if they're gonna follow you anyway?
But here, I think I was just, you know, I just felt like a kid on this one, and like I said, you know, it was all about making the soundtrack for Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So, you gonna pitch it to Mario Kart?
No.
You might get it.
We're being greedy. We want it all to ourselves.
Anybody else have last minute?
Aside from your website, what would you recommend as far as somebody trying to get noticed? Somebody, you know, I've been doing beats for years, and it's not easy like it was then, where you could bump into somebody a little more often, or you can't just send a CD to a company because usually it goes in the front door and then right in the first trash can. So what's your recommendation on who to go to, when to go there?
Well, the business and the landscape of everything has totally changed. I mean, yes, radio is still a force, and so is the record companies. But it's different than like when we got started. When we got started, it was kind of like, yeah, you know, because it was all CD based. You know, you come into A&R's office and he had these big, huge, like washer and dryer box size boxes filled of like CDs that you know he's never gonna listen to. But it's different now. Now, you know, it's not really about like these huge superstars anymore, because the internet has just spread everything out so wide that, like, you know, you know, like these kids with like virtually no talent are being discovered and being signed. And then there are kids that are like really talented and they're being discovered and signed because the internet is just so open. So I would say, you know, think about it, like take the emotion out of it and just think about it like in terms of like common sense. Like, where will I get the visibility? Ask yourself that, and not like, man, you know, traditionally I felt like I had to argue and fight and damn near run up in like Warner Brothers with a machine gun like Rambo and tell someone to listen to my demo. It's not that way anymore. Now, like, the way that there's so many kids online that if your music is placed somewhere where you know a lot of traffic's gonna be, if they like it, there starts to be a following. Because now, like, the coolest thing to do, when we were starting out, the coolest thing for us to do was to just be like, are you up on such and such? Are you on, do you know about this band or do you know about that band? And it, you know, because the pop and top 40 game was so huge, that was the biggest thing. But now there's so many independent things going on aside from the majors, that like there's all this activity that it's kind of balanced out now. So now you have more of an opportunity, even though there are more people in it, you kind of have more of an opportunity, because if it's hot, the people will rally behind you, and all of a sudden you'll sort of get a following, and then people sort of seek you out. It's not the same, and I'm not saying that you don't have to reach toward the majors, but like it's just different. There's a higher probability of you being discovered than there ever was. But that's my opinion. There are other people who may hear what I'm saying and completely argue with me and say, oh, it's much harder now because there's more people. But I think that there are more platforms, and when you go online, it's not, you know, the online world is not like your iPod. Your iPod is eclectic, right? It's filled of all kinds of stuff, from like jazz to hard rock, right?
Exactly.
But the internet is not like that. The internet is very much so clannish and cliquish. So like if you're like an emo kid, then you go all the sites that all the emo kids go on. And it's not that you won't go to like some of the rap sites, but there are definitely some veins that you easy leads for you to get there.
That's your preference.
Yeah, you if you just go looking, it's not that tough.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited for the new album, 2010.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm 15, so you said that you make records for kids. So what should I expect from you?
Not track 2.
You know what? It's funny because, like, you know, when Shay and Chad and I have ever made records about girls, there's always been our perspective of what we see, but now we actually have like a female vocalist, and I was inspired by like a lot of the things that she went through. So there will be, I would say, you know, as a kid, there's the element of like, you know, the entire album just being about the things that like we go through as kids. Because yeah, I'm 36, but I'm still a kid, 100%. Don't say anything. But then there's also like there's estrogen in this album, so it's gonna be good. Hopefully it'll be the soundtrack to your life if you did it right.